Yeah.
We got 2 callers on the line, and one of them's from Tokyo, so Jess is going first. How you doing, Jess?
I'm pretty good. I wanted to call because I'm not sure if I misunderstand what Tracie's saying or not, but you know, I think it is possible to believe something that we don't necessarily understand, and that's because of the assumptions, the axioms that we use going into that. For example, science. I read a lot of science magazines, and some of the articles I don't understand. Like, for example, quantum computing I was reading about, and I have no idea what they're talking about in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
but I believe that it's probably true.
But what do you believe is probably true?
Because I believe that reality is something that we can understand, that the scientific method works, that it is a way to understand reality, that these papers are peer-reviewed, and that the garbage gets filtered out.
But what I'm saying is, can you honestly say that you believe what is asserted in that paper when you don't even know what the paper is saying?
I believe that it's probably true. Yeah, but just because I don't understand it, it's not true.
It seems that you're in a position, which is kind of something I talked about earlier, where you are willing to accept their expertise and authority and act on behalf of it and accept that they have most likely got it right. But whether or not you can say that you believe it is the question when you don't understand it. I mean, if you understand it to some degree, then I suppose you could believe the parts that you understand.
To the degree that you understand it, you can believe it. Now, what you're really saying is, I believe that. Is this a physics like using like a physics article? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, quantum computing.
Okay, you can say, I believe that quantum physicists, know what they're talking about. And I don't understand what they're saying, but I believe they're qualified to talk about quantum physics, and whatever they're asserting is probably what the evidence suggests. But that's different than saying I believe what he's asserting. If I can't understand what he's asserting, I wouldn't even know what I'm saying I believe.
You could still accept that that he's got it right, but what you're actually believing then is that this person has made a correct assessment. It's really
right. That's your belief.
We're talking about a very, very fine point. And the only reason I think that it came up and needed to be addressed was, in addition to the point that Tracie addressed 2 weeks ago, or a month ago, or however long ago it was, about God exists and neither term is well defined. There are people running around saying they believe things, and yet they cannot remotely express or tell you what it. And we had a perfect example of that as a caller today who called in, and every time he tried to explain what it exactly was that he believed, couldn't quite get there. And so the question is, does he really believe it, or does he believe that he believes it, I suppose?
Right.
In much the same way that Daniel Dennett talks about belief and belief.
Like, I believe a mechanic is probably more qualified to fix my car than I am. I believe in his expertise as far as his understanding of the automobile, especially if he's certified. However, I can't say that I believe his diagnosis of the vehicle unless I understand what that diagnosis is. Like, to say I believe in the diagnosis means I have to understand the diagnosis. But to say I believe that whatever he's diagnosing, he knows what he's doing, that's a different belief.
Well, I believe that the scientific method works, whereas the biblical one does not. The Bible was written by...
Right, and you can believe that. You can say, I believe in this method. I believe that this method is more reliable. That's a valid thing to believe. You understand the method, and you can say that.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you've got another call, so I'm going to bail out. But I just want to let you know that I'm calling from Tokyo, as you know. People who found your show on YouTube.
Yes.
The clip of Why You Don't Die When the Sun Goes Down.
Yes.
So it is bringing people in. And also your new time. Your new time is... your old time is too early for me.
Right.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning now.
It's 8 in the morning now?
Wow.
Yeah, so your old time would have been while I was sleeping, so this is much more convenient.
We have a more Tokyo-friendly time.
Well, I'm glad we've moved to a Tokyo-friendly time. Thanks for calling, Jess. I'm almost out of time, so I got to let you go. But